Right, so it's a bit of a random one today. We're actually going to be having a look at this high dome filter and how to repair the pump mechanism, because as you can see, the main fault in these things is the pump. When you try to prime it and suck the water through, the actual pump bit gets stuck. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to open this bad boy up and we're going to have a look, and I'm going to show you how to repair it. First off, let me go in the shed because I've got to get me the right tools for the job, because I started this a bit half-arsed. Kind of a spur of the moment video, but there you go. Right, so once you've got the tools, which is just your basic normal screwdrivers, you're going to want to undo the 4 sort of screws. Make sure you've got something to put all your screws and nuts in there, that's very important and all. Right, you're going to have to undo the 4 screws in all 4 corners of the actual high dome unit itself, and you've got to be very careful when you're doing this as to not break any seals or any bits and pieces. Right, as you can see, there's a port there with 2 screws on it, which I'm leaving the fuck alone, because that there is where the actual main motor is, and you don't want to be messing around with that, as I found out quite recently, really. Right, so nearly there. Just gonna remove this screw. I said 4 screws initially, but there's only 3 in my unit, because I did try and I did repair it a few days ago and I lost a screw, so that's why it's very important you need some sort of container to pop all your bits and pieces in. Right, now this is a tricky part. What you got to do is remove the upper housing from the base unit, and the way you're going to do this is just mainly give it a wiggle open, and then your 2 inlet pipes that you can see there, that for the in and out of the water flow, what you're going to have to do is they're only sort of push fitted in really, with some rubber circlets around them, and you have to remove them just by gently giving them a wiggle and a tug, which you'll see me do just shortly. And then once that's done, you can remove the upper case of the unit. There you go, just you go wiggle it all out, and that they just generally pop out. It's easy enough. Right, so you remove the upper case unit there, the rings that we was talking about earlier on, and this is what you're left with. Right, so you've got the pump priming mechanism there, which is what we're after to fix. That is held in by 3 sort of 3 little, I don't know what you call them really, bits of plastic, flat bits of plastic, which keeps all the springs and the pump in place. So we're going to unscrew these 3 little screws to remove the plastic sort of casing, so we can have a look at the actual pump and see what the problem is. Right, so it's, I'm not going to take all the screws out, I'm just going to take enough of the screws out so I can slide the plastics to one side to make this job slightly easier. Because, well, there you go. Fuck, doing it the hard way, you know what I mean? Right, so once all these are sort of gotten moved and out the way, let's get rid of that bit of wire because that's doing my noodling. Right, so we're going to try, this is quite awkward. I mean, as you can see, I'm doing it on my Todd light, but this is well easier 2-man operation in some areas. Right, and slide that over. Right, now you can see that's proper stuck. There is no way that's going. I think it's a fault or something. Right, so you're going to get, well, I have to get a screwdriver and I have to literally prise that up, and it's going to go quite pop in a minute, as you'll see. To get the shit out of it. There you go, boom. Right, so that's the older pump out, and as you can see, that's all it is, just some springs. Right, now there's nothing wrong with the springs, they're all alright. Now what your problem is you've got to lubricate the actual column and the actual pump bit itself. Now I use 100% petroleum jelly, I've checked it out, it does work, and it's completely safe for the external filter. Right, so what you do, you get quite a lot of that, and just place it all around the actual pump area itself. As you can see there, just give it a generous coating, because it's got to be nicely lubricated up, else you ain't going to be able to use it to prime the water on the actual filter itself, and that's just going to be a bastard. No one wants that, because at the end of the day we all want clear crystal water that looks like fucking gin. Right, so now all that's about, what we're going to do Let's give some more. I mean, you can't be too sparse with it. I mean, last thing you want to do is go through all this, put it all back together again, and find out that the thing just, you know, hasn't got enough lubrication around it, and it ain't gonna work. I'll just put that to one side because I want to put some in the inner housing, especially where the springs are, because you had them 3 little pivot dinks on the actual pump itself, which, you know, if they get locked in, and I think that's part of the main problem, right? And we're going to do around the inside of the column too. These probably have all got technical names, but as long as you're watching what we're doing, you'll know what I'm on about. Ooh, Jesus Christ, I tell you what, this is fucking hard going, this is. So as you can notice, I'm actually doing this in my garden, because I thought, you know what, the weather's all nice and lovely, and I've got nothing better to do, because I'm on fucking lockdown, so let's go. Right, so this is where it gets a bit tricky, because obviously I should have got some tissue or something, because my fingers are now covered in Vaseline, which is a bit savage, which makes the next part of the video quite difficult. Right, so we got to put all them in. Right, this is where you might need another person to come and help you. Right, there's only one way this unit can go in because of how the screws and them little plastic dinks are set up. Right, so now what you got to do is with one hand press down. So now this is key as to why I only half undid the little plastic pegs earlier on. It's because I can easily just swap it round there to keep it in place. Make sure that you've got enough pressure on your actual pump, because now it's lubricated up, that thing's just going to want to spring out and jump everywhere. Right, just quickly try and get the first screw in as quickly as you possibly can to stop any well, to make this job go easier than what it fucking is. Right, so when they were in place, we're actually on the home stretch here, kids, would you believe that? We're actually nearly fucking there. Right, so again, you might have to still keep pressure on it when you get the other ones in tow, but it's as easy as that. This is the most awkwardest bit of the actual job, if you want to know the truth, and that's screwing everything in place when you're trying to keep the actual pump down, or butt, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, once, as you can see, I mean, you can see there, it's actually got a bit of that's freed up the stiffness. So it's going to be easier to actually prime the actual system itself now. Right, so what we're going to do now is it's just the last one. There you go. See, it's working already. Bit of a petroleum jelly on there, and it's doing good. Right, now let me just get that out of the way, because it's just one of them. Right, so everything's all where it needs to be put and placed. Right, now I'm going to just attach the top of the filter. Right, them little pipes earlier on, excuse the forehead there, you know, and the darkness of the screen. I have a big head, blocks out all natural light. So what you want to do there is literally they just push in. As soon as you put a bit of pressure on them, you'll feel a pop where they've actually sunk themselves back into the hole to create the watertight seal, which is fantastic. Yep, then popped in. Then what we're going to do is the 3 screws, well 4 screws in your case, that we did earlier on, you're going to want to put them back in the unit. I'll get this thing in shot in a minute. I just need a bit of light to see what I'm doing. Right, so there you go, we're back in. So yeah, you're going to put them 3 screws back into the unit, which is which is easy enough. I mean, you've gone through all that. It's 3 fucking screws, you know what I mean? So that's yeah, we're actually nearly done there. I mean, there's pretty much nothing else that can be done or said about it. You're going to put the screws in, then you're going to rebuild your actual high dom or external filter, and after you've done that, you can actually start setting everything back up. I mean, I can actually do videos and show you how and what sort of filtration method I'm going to put in the system, but I suppose I'll only do that if I get enough interest in the this video itself, because this will actually be up and running by Monday, I think. So right after this, it should be jobs are good 'un. Right, so as you can see, all that's all nice and sturdy. and the actual pump itself is now working, so the systems can all be primed and they're all good to go now. Right, so if you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope it helped you out a hell of a lot, like, share and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more fish videos coming soon. And yeah, I hope all of you have a good day, and I hope your water gets all crystal clear and silky and smooth, and you all have happy fish. Goodbye, ta-ra.